Hi everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel and welcome back if you've been here before. My name is Alexis and on this channel I talk about important lessons and takeaways that I get from viral topics and viral conversations. Today I wanted to talk about cultural norms, trends, social norms that have either been impacted by social media, meaning it existed before but social media changed the way we view or say these things, or norms that were introduced to society with the arrival of social media. And obviously, people who were alive before social media can attest to this about how social media have changed a lot of things. But a lot of people, especially Generation Z and Gen Alpha, have not been alive without social media, so they wouldn't even know what those days look like. The older Gen Z and the younger millennials are pretty much in between. Sometimes I feel like as somebody who's on the cusp of both generation, meaning a very young millennial or older Gen Z, depending on how you see it, I kind of have an idea of what both parties are talking about sometimes when I hear Gen Z speak or millennials speak about their experiences. For point number one, I wrote down catcalling, but to be a little more general about what I'm talking about the way in which men approach women. I mentioned catcalling because I came across a video on social media of a woman talking about how men don't approach her anymore.
So am I like the only woman that no longer gets approached by men? No, because I had to actually sit and think about this and I had to ask myself, when is the last time a man came up to me and wanted to get to know me or exchange numbers? And it's been a long time. And honestly, I'm not gonna lie, it definitely has me questioning myself. Like, am I not as attractive as I thought I am? Am I looking old? Am I intimidating? Like, what is it? So now I'm starting to realize that since men don't come up to me, I have to be the one to go up to them. And that makes me super nervous because it's like, how do I know I'm not going to get rejected if you didn't come up to me in the first place and then I make the decision to go up to you? How do I know I won't face rejection? So can I get some tips and tricks, some advice on how to approach a man that I think is cute? Because I have no idea how to. Like, I'm scared and I feel like I can only approach men if I'm drunk, which is not often.
I think there's a lot of different factors that have contributed to the society where we are today, where maybe men are a little more nervous to approach women or they do not dare. The lady in the video has an issue with it. But for me personally, if I'm going to be honest, I do not mind at all. If you're a woman who grew up considered attractive by your peers, like your surrounding, you know catcalling and the way men approach you was always very aggressive, brutal. It was very clear that you weren't seen as a person, but just as some type of pretty thing that they wanted to use. So when it comes to things like catcalling and how men aggressively approach women, the changes that has happened due to things like gender wars or like even the Me Too movement, I like it personally. But I know that most women might not always like it, especially women who are now entering into their womanhood and they're looking to meet somebody like a boyfriend or a future husband. There's still a lot of men who make a move or things of that nature. But the differences that I personally have noticed is that men just don't approach you anyhow. They're very nervous, they're very scared. Maybe those men have just had negative experiences with a lot of women that they've encountered. But either way, I really do believe that the way men approach women is one of those things that social media has impacted highly. Let me also say it's not just women's standards that have impacted that change. I can also see the podcast bros and the red pillars affecting the way men think of women and the way men approach women. When you hear things like,
when it comes to relationships, men are the prize. Yeah, I said it. Men are the prize. Men are the providers. Men are the protectors. Men are the stability. Men are the reason we're able to carry life into this world in the first place. Men keep us grounded and are able to build us up, us very emotional and sometimes illogical thinkers, into the woman God has called us to be. Unfortunately, so many of our men have been incarcerated and so many of our men come from toxic households. Therefore, it's up to you to do your honest part to make sure that the man that you're interested in is actually a good man and doesn't just look good. A good man is a prize to the world because where would we honestly be without our men? A good man is a prize to a single woman struggling with 4 kids on her own. A good man is a prize to a woman who didn't grow up with a father to know what love really is. Call me a pick me, at least I'm getting picked.
The reason why modern men today expect women to chase them is because they're being told that they are the prize.
and there's a lot of men who are thinking that way. So because of that, they would like to sit back and wait for a woman to approach them. Some of us just don't care. However, there's some women out here who are really sweating and want that attention. So I really wish good luck to everybody, but that's one of the main things that I really believe that social media has impacted and created a huge change, amongst other things. But I think social media is one of the greatest things that has impacted how men approach women in general. I believe before approaching any woman, you have to like really think before doing so. So you don't do it the wrong way, you don't say the wrong thing. I think that has helped with that. Like men just don't act all willy nilly based on whatever impulse they feel like or whatever impulse that hit them at the moment. So I do not have an issue with that. That is a change that I've noticed. You guys let me know if you agree or disagree. Next, the rise in transactional relationships. I see a rise in transactional romantic relationships. And when it comes to transactional relationships, I think it was always here. Like, I think the generations before us have always done it. It's just now it's out in the open because of social media. Everything is on TikTok, everything is on Instagram, everything is on Facebook. And every race, gender, generation, every group, every demographic have access to the same social media. And okay, maybe not all, but most people do have access to the same kind of social media, and you get to choose what kind of information you want to consume. So it's just out there, and transactional relationships are becoming very popular. Relationships that are very focused on monetary or materialistic exchanges. They seem to have a lack of emotional value to relationships. And it's crazy for me to say this because I never lived through that time when people are saying relationship was supposedly better. All I'm seeing now is a lot of older women who were alive back in the day who are claiming that they got married, but they were very unhappy in these marriages. So maybe some of those relationships were alive, they were solid, but they were fake, or they were based on fake love or fake respect, or just unhappy people who had to stay stuck together, and things are different now. It sounds like that's what it is. When it comes to things like transactional relationships, I really don't know if and how many real loving, caring, respectable relationships there were back in the day. But I know things are changing today. And I don't know if I would say changing for the better. Personally, I think the reason why things have shifted towards romantic, like transactional type of romantic kind of relationship is because people have given up on the idea of ever finding real connection or real love. I mean, it exists, but it's very rare. And I also want to say that transactional relationships is very much pushed by women more, even though men are starting to get into it. We can see it with a lot of divorces where the woman has to be the one to pay alimony. Because if we are going to accuse women of being gold diggers and marrying, men or rich men to be able to get away with the fat alimony and maybe child support at the end of it, then you cannot tell me that you don't see men doing the exact same thing. So we're starting to see men get into that trend as well, but women are definitely pushing that, and I'm not against it, to be honest with you, because the things that men and women bring into relationships is very different. So if you want to get married to a woman and you expect her to one day have children and you expect her to take care of everything domestic wise in the household, then she cannot invest fully in providing monetarily to the relationship. It has to be the other person in there. I hate the way the conversation sometimes always centers the fact that people are heartless or there's no more real connection anymore. Sometimes it feels like people are being blamed, but we have to talk about the fact that chasing after transactional type of relationship, it's not because people actually choose that lifestyle. It's that lifestyle that chooses them. If you already give up on the idea that you could find that, you might as well just start looking for a man with money. Because at the end of the day, the rich guys and the guys with nothing are going to treat you the exact same anyway. So next, it is going no contact with friends and family. I am noticing a lot of people in my personal life who are going no contact with family.
Go no contact with members of your family and they say, oh, you only have one mom, you only have one sibling, you only have one whoever. It's never like, oh, they only had one you and they messed that up. Because I assure you, 9 times out of 10, no one's going no contact for no reason. And it's always show them grace. It's never they should have treated you better when they had the chance. I think we're all forgetting that these people that are being left behind in the wind have done something to deserve it. Like, yes, you only get one mom unless you have 2 moms, but like they only get one you. And more than likely you've given them, or like they've given their family members chance after chance to change, to like show that they've changed. And like they just haven't done the work to deserve having a relationship. And no, it's not like, oh, we don't understand, like, you don't understand our dynamic. No, like we do, and you are the villain, actually. Like, people need to start realizing that it is a privilege to F with you. Like, I don't care if we are connected by blood. If you're treating me poorly, I'm not gonna let you keep treating me poorly. And coming from someone who is a no contact pretty much with like a few people, it was not a light decision. I did not make that decision lightly. And if one of your family members has gone no contact and you have been included, I'm not even gonna say it, but you know.
People are tired. People are realizing that you only have one life to live. They don't want to hear anything else. If you are stressing them out, they don't want to get your blood pressure up. They're just going to walk away. Some people don't want to stay there and work things out with people who don't deserve it. I'm not going to say it's like a 100% kind of thing. I don't even think the majority of people are stepping away from family. It's still a lot of people putting up with toxic behaviors from friends and family because they just want to be around somebody. And I know right now we're also in the loneliness epidemic where, again, finding real connection is hard. So some people will stay in bad situations just to have somebody. I think the cutting off of friends and family is talked about a lot and it's becoming very common. I don't think it's going to slow down. What I think is going to happen is that we're going to have a new generation of parents who are going to be a little more cuddly with their children, are going to be more emotionally intelligent, are going to communicate more, and that's going to shrink, or should I say, reduce the amount of children who feel the need to go no contact. Next is the reducing and declining birth rates. Do I need to say more? Women are having less and less children, and this is a global phenomenon. The reason why I believe that social media has a lot to do with it, amongst other factors, because we cannot ignore financial stability, shortage of good partners to father your children. We cannot ignore that. However, I think social media has a lot to do with the way women gain consciousness and about how they should go about pushing babies. The fact that there's so many examples of what motherhood entails, I think affects the way women see motherhood and how much willing they are to become mothers. Even I, with the help of social media, have seen motherhood in a different lens. So I grew up in a family where in some cases I had to help sometimes with some of the chores in the house. And when I was young, I thought that was normal behavior to have a husband who isn't really helpful and you work hard and then you have children and you take care of them. And I left home and then I saw other women who really didn't have to do that. They were just living your nice soft life, which doesn't really have anything to do with money, but just a stress-free life. And I got to see that. And then I knew it was possible. And then with things like social media, women talk about these things. So now I know that life isn't supposed to be that stressful. I know a lot of people don't like social media, but I am very grateful for social media. It has shown me things that I would have never seen in my household because we were very secluded. We were very limited in our conversations. I was thinking there's options out there, not just the one that I grew up with and the life that I've seen my whole life growing up. Even though I don't think social media is the main reason why birth rates are declining, I think social media helps in women knowing that they have a choice to not be moms. Because of social media, women are exposed to all this different information and you get to choose whatever you want to do with said information. So I do believe that social media is definitely not the only, nor it is the main thing that's affecting the declining birth rates, but it's definitely one of those things. Social media is helping spread the word and showing women that you have other options other than get married and have children. You can also live your life and be happy. Next, having a luxury lifestyle. I'm not sure exactly how things like got to this point, but I feel as if a long time ago, a luxury was different things. I guess it's because people were struggling more. And this is when I get confused because the older generation is supposed to be the generation that had it easier in terms of buying houses, in terms of rent, because rent wasn't that high back then, in terms of so many different things. Groceries were a little more accessible. So I'm just trying to figure out how things got to, this point where instead of people valuing luxury like personal connection kind of luxury, people seem to have let their guards down and give in to materialistic things that seem to be a little more valuable today. And the luxury lifestyle today, in my opinion, seems to be a little different compared to the luxury lifestyle back in the day. Luxury seems to look one way in this day and age, and I think social media is pushing luxury that is with materialistic things, and people don't realize that luxury could be a lot more than that. When I was growing up, like the bare minimum could have been considered a luxury, and now you see things like the prom dates or like the prom outfits, I'm sure you guys saw the trend of like the kids going to prom. That kind of thing was like, you just didn't see it every day. And now it's like the average person seems to be sending their child to prom with a dress that looks like a wedding dress and like suit from like, a tailor made. So it's just things that I did not even see growing up. And now it's just everybody seems to be doing it. Even the way the girls are dressing, high school, middle school, even. The internet is defining luxury a certain way and encouraging the next generation into being luxurious and fitting into the definition of what the internet is making it out to be. Luxury looks like this. Luxury is a private jet. Now you have people who even go into fake private jets, take pictures to post online to make it seem like they're in a private jet. Luxury is going to prom like it was a wedding. Luxury is a Lamborghini, even though a lot of times it's rented. So it's like luxury is all these different things that a lot of people can't even afford in real life. Based on what the economy is looking like today, accessing all those materialistic things back then appear to have been easier. A big house, hair, makeup, all those things. But it seemed like it's our generation that has defined luxury to be those things and is chasing after this, even if it's harder for us to access it and afford it. Next, cosmetic procedures. Do I need to say more? If you're on social media, you see people going to Turkey and Colombia and getting BBLs like it was free samples. The way people would risk their life for those BBLs, because it is risking your life. It's crazy to me. Like, BBLs is a surgery, like Brazilian butt lifts. So it's a surgery. And it's not one of those non-invasive surgery. No, it's very invasive. Like, the doctors who do the right way has to put you under anesthesia like a regular surgery. You fall asleep and then they transfer fat from your abdomen to your butt, to your hips. So just thinking about it is painful. I go to the gym, I work out, and my body hurts after that. And I know it's nothing compared to the pain that you have to feel weeks and months after getting a BBL. And if you're unlucky enough to have gotten your BBL from one of these fraudulent surgeons in the back room somewhere, I know some of you are still going through that pain. My heart goes out to a lot of y'all. Some of you were beautiful all along, and you just needed somebody to show you and tell you. It's so unfortunate that you had to go through that. Young girls, 21, 22, who talk about getting fillers like it was candy, like a candy at like the candy store or some shit. Like, and those things cost a lot of money too. Again, where are these girls like getting all this money? Like, are they getting into debt? I believe cosmetic procedures are becoming cheaper as well, but the cheaper ones are the ones you should look out for. Like, don't go for the cheap ones. That doesn't mean if you get expensive cosmetic procedure, it's safer, but the doctors who are licensed in plastic surgery would probably cost more. The way social media has played into people being desensitized to going under the table, getting under the knife is insane. Like, it's actually like it's surgery. Imagine somebody willingly getting under the knife solely to have a body look a certain way. If you don't have to do it, don't do it. So first of all, you're losing money, you're losing time, and you are putting your life at risk for the sake of a cosmetic procedure. It's heavy. Just me thinking of it is heavy on my mind. So I can only imagine those of you who are going through with this are very courageous. Getting cosmetic procedures should not be as easy as it is. And I don't think money-wise it's getting any cheaper. I mean, the good doctors are not getting any cheaper. So you have people who are getting into serious debt to get those cosmetic procedures. And it's also annoying how when you're a woman with a natural curvy body, because I do have a naturally curvy body, and people ask me if I have a BBL. And it's like, really, can't you guys see the difference in between a real body and a BBL? Like, I do not have a BBL. But it's just to show you how common and accessible it is. Everybody is getting it. Your neighbor who works at Target, your neighbor who works at Walmart, she can just save a little bit and go to Colombia somewhere or Mexico or whatever and, slide money under the table and get under the knife. Cosmetic procedures has become too accessible in my opinion, and social media keeps promoting that like it's normal. That right there is one thing about social media that bothers me. Last but definitely not least, witchcraft. And this is mainly on TikTok, but obviously it's taking over other social media platforms as well. I'm seeing a lot of people doing love spells, manifestation.
Do you want to make somebody obsessed with you? If you do, follow this spell. So write your name in red pen on one side of a piece of paper, then turn it over and put your partner's name on the other side. Yeah. And then what you're going to do is their side, so that on their name, just spray that with your perfume all across. There we go. So whatever perfume you use, just spray, or aftershave if you're obviously the other way around, if you're a man and you're trying to get a woman. And then what you're going to do then is just going to fold this paper towards you 3 times, and the reason is that obviously, as you know by now, we always fold things towards us when we're trying to get something to us. All right, and 3 is always the magical number. So, oh, that smells so lush. Then you're just going to take that piece of paper and you're going to put that inside your pillow slip. Okay, and then when it's worked, remember to move it out. So as soon as it's worked, then remove the paper out and burn it or bury it in the ground. And when it has worked, make sure you remember to comment on this video, make sure you add it to your favourites, and make sure you share. Have a truly blessed day.
I don't like it too much. And the reason why is because some people, especially when it comes to things like love spells or money spells or things like that, I believe spiritually what's meant for you is meant for you. And I believe sometimes when we do a lot of witchcraft type of things, it just upsets the universe in a way. Like, for example, I heard of people doing, I forgot the name, like a switch spell where you can switch your destiny with somebody. I'm sure it's not called a switch spell, but it entails, like, the main idea of the spell is that right there. Things like that I don't like, because things like this make me not trust anybody. What do you mean a switch?
Have a high spiritual calling or destiny over your life, your destiny will be under attack even before you are born. So here are 3 things that you need to know about destiny swap spells. One of the first things you need to know is that a destiny swap spells or attacks on your destiny in general do not have to be performed by humans. Your destiny can be under attack by familiar spirits, by monitoring spirits, by marine spirits, by principalities, the same way that we have variety of plants, animals, and foods in the earthly realm. There is variety of spirits in the spiritual realm. Point number 2, your destiny cannot be stolen without your consent. But the trick is that these spells and these energies will gain your consent through deceptive means. For instance, by casting a lot of confusion into your reality. Once you begin to buy into the illusions and the confusion that is being casted around you, and you start saying things like, oh, I'm cursed, or I'm never going to be successful, I'm always going to be broke, I'm never going to meet true love, you have given your consent for those things to actually happen in your life, even though they were never supposed to be the case. And so this consent can be garnered either verbally through your words or non-verbally through your actions. And this brings me to point number 3. The real tea is that destiny swap spells require you to be in a low vibrational energy. And so these types of spells and curses will bring low vibrational people into your life in the hopes that you begin to hang with them, act like them, make children with them, marry them. Having intimate relations, doing what grown folks do with the wrong people is one of the most common and most powerful ways that your destiny can be swapped. And if you would like to know more about this topic and more about solutions and preventative measures to protect your destiny, please head over to my channel, Surviving Witchcraft with Oshun Speaks.
God gives you the struggles that you can manage. So you switching your destiny with somebody, you don't know if your struggles are something that you cannot manage. And sometimes the pros are very insignificant compared to the cons. And when it comes to like a lifestyle or somebody's lives and problems in general, you might see them going through the good things, but you don't know what the bad times look like because they go through like the bad times behind closed doors, so you don't get to see it. So things like that bothers my spirit. I do not like that at all. Love spells. If somebody doesn't like you, why do you want to put a spell on them so they can like you? And people are just talking about it on social media so casually. I don't think it's a good thing. I just feel like witchcraft and all those other kind of spirituality that we weren't used to until social media made it popular. I think those kind of spirituality tactics needs to be applied on self only, like on ourselves, for the people who practice it. I keep saying love spell, but that's because that's the spell that bothers me the most. All of you women who are rejecting men because maybe they don't make enough money or maybe they don't fit your standard. What if they made a love spell on you? And eventually the love spells wash out because sooner or later you're going to realize that you're in a situation that you don't want to be in. But before then, you're going to waste so many years on somebody who, if they hadn't put a spell on you, you will never be with them. Wouldn't you want to be with somebody who you don't have to hypnotize or put a spell on for them to see your value? Sometimes I'm curious as to how the spell works. Are they seeing you, or when you put the spell on them, it just blinds them into seeing the person that they really want to see? Witchcraft, spells, money spells, all of those things. Like, I don't have an issue with money spell though, because I would like to believe that money spells, when you do a spell for money, it doesn't steal from somebody else's money. It's just the money that belongs to you that comes your way. So again, I don't have an issue with that kind of spirituality, witchcraft, when you focus on yourself, you put spells on you, you do things on you, but people are not taking that witchcraft to affect other people's lives. When somebody is mad or jealous of the other person, or they want to seek revenge for something that one person did to them, automatically go to witchcraft, automatically try to throw spells at them. I just think this type of spirituality needs to be used to protect ourselves and to make ourselves better. But it's a lot of people who go online and explain how you can destroy somebody's day or F up somebody's mind if you don't like them. And I keep seeing these things, or put a spell on you, or find a way for somebody who is usually not attracted to people like you to be attracted to you. It's like, I don't like this. And I don't know how it goes in real life, because in real life, things like this are kept a secret. But just like everything I've mentioned, if social media keeps normalizing this ish, before you know it, everybody else will be partaking in it. So yeah, witchcraft, spirituality, all kind of spirituality, I don't really mind. I don't really care. We live in a very spiritual world, but we are getting into very dark times, and I don't like all of this being made normal on social media. People who are not very educated on spirituality or the topic might be messing with things that they don't really know about. Please, if you're going to practice witchcraft or any kind of spirituality of the sort, focus on yourself. Put spells on yourself. Do money spells to work on you, but leave other people out of it, especially other people who have not communicated with you one way, shape, or form that they want to participate. Best believe these things are going to backfire. If you send a spell to somebody and they're protected, or they're protecting themselves spiritually, chances are the spell is bouncing back to you. To each your own. It's just, I really wish people will learn how to just take those elements of spirituality, all those different ways to practice spirituality, or all these different ways to connect with your God, and work on themselves without including anybody else in it. So voila. With that being said, this marks the end of my video. If you guys would please like, comment, and let me know what you agree with, what you disagree with. It's always a pleasure to have you all here. And go ahead and subscribe, because it's free, and I'm really hoping to grow my channel. So if you guys would please help a woman out. And with all that being said, thank you very much for sticking around, and I will catch you in the next video.